Okay, so we're going to actually show you how to do a couple adjustments on the Zyppah A. The patient has already had the Zyppah V, and we've maximized all the adjustments on this appliance. It is now time for the patient to upgrade it to the other appliance. What we do is the upper one will stay the exact same, so the patient feels really, really comfortable because of the fact that they don't have to do too many changes. The actual appliance itself is going to be the same. On the top, we're just going to switch out that bottom. And they can always keep that lower part at home as a backup in case of an emergency and they need to follow up and have that one on hand. Just take this apart here. So like I said, the top one will stay the exact same. It is interchanged with the lower part of the new one. So when you get the new one, notice that the A is made out of that acrylic, a little bit different than the vacuum form. It still has the blocks here. Everything else is the same, but now you can see it has the extensions here. With the extensions, we're able to move that elastic further back onto the tongue. So the lab will send you all the supplies here that you need. Those first couple of adjustments that you do, you can have the band in that original position that you did on the V. So the patient is very used to that position already. The only difference is the fact now that the design is a little bit different. It's made out of the acrylic. And sometimes when it is made, the elastic is just a little bit further back than the V was. That's just the way that the clasping is. And that way it makes an easy transition for the patient. So when they first start, this is how you deliver it. Elastics will hook them on the exact same as it did with the V. When the patient comes back, and this is when it becomes a little bit tricky as far as fitting the elastic size, because all of the sizes are different. Every patient is individualized. And also on here, you might want to have your patient take a picture of their appliance after you get this wrapped on there, so in case it comes unwrapped at home, they can do it themselves. Easiest way to do that, this is the elastic on the top of the fingers. If you happen to be right-handed, easiest way to do it is hold the appliance in your left hand, and you're going to hook that button right across from you here. Make sure that's nice and secure. Pull the elastic towards you, and you're going to wrap it right on top of that finger, towards you here, and wrap. And then you can kind of look at it here and find out, okay, this is where it needs to be cut. This is the correct size. So I go ahead and keep my finger there. The hole punch, the rubber dam, you want to make sure that you have it at the biggest hole here as you punch that. And then with the scissors, you don't want to cut too close to the hole because it will have a tendency to tear. So you want to keep a nice little tail here. And I round it off, just makes it a little bit more comfortable for the patient so it's not rubbing their gum tissue. And now that you have it completely cut, you go ahead and wrap it on there and hold it there. Pull towards you, wrap it, and then go ahead and pull it over that button, just like that. Like I said, you might want to photograph this, have the patient take a picture on their phone, so in case it's over the weekend and they have to rewrap themselves, they actually know how to do it. Same thing here, you've got the appliance here, and you could just see now that the elastic is a little bit further back onto the tongue. Okay, last and final position of the elastic band here. This doesn't really go further back onto the patient's tongue, but what it does is it decreases the pressure, so it goes from this pressure down to this pressure. And we're going to go ahead and measure the band first, just to make sure that we have the correct length here. Sometimes you get really lucky and you don't have to cut it. This is the size that comes with the case itself. And a lot of times it's the perfect size, but same thing here. Hold it in your left hand, go ahead and place it here. We call this the X position, and I'll show you why in just a minute. What you're going to do is you're going to bring it straight across the appliance onto the opposite finger. And what you do is you wrap it here, and then you're going to come up and wrap it over here. This is actually the perfect size. So you don't have to cut it. If the patient has a real tiny mouth, you might have to cut the hole like we did on the other one. But here we're just going to go ahead and wrap it like that. Get it secure. And we call it the X position because if you can see right on the front here, there is an X. And the band has come from the top. Now it's down to the bottom of the fingers.
What I'm going to review today is the adjustment of the Adams clasps on the Zyppah A. So here we have the Zyppah A. You can always tell it's got the extensions here, but sometimes you'll use the Zyppah A where you would use the V, but because of tooth structure, you don't have undercuts, or enough undercuts, or the teeth are very short. So the Zyppah V, the vacuum form, does not have sufficient retention. So what I love about the Adams clasp, as you can see here, is you can get retention on almost any tooth, anytime. And that's when you use it, is when you need that additional retention. So you can see if we look at the typodont, and you have it fits here, and this is not very tight. What most people will do, without realizing it, to try and tighten them, they'll take a pair of bird beak pliers, and very often they try to bend the clasp in. You don't want to be bending the clasp in. That's not where you're going to grab it. Where you're going to grab it, if you look here, is you want to come in basically into proximally between the teeth. So you want to curve this in, you want to curve this in this way, so you get them into proximally. You're not trying to get more retention on the buccal surface. You're not trying to find an undercut on the buccal surface. What you're trying to do is roll the corners in. So if you're looking here, you want to roll this corner in and this corner in into proximally to grab onto that tooth. The same thing with the bicuspids here. You're going to roll that in and this in here. So to show you the easiest way that I like to do it is I'll take the bird beak plier here and I just grab it like that so it hits flat. And then when it hits flat, I'm just rolling it in. So you can see it can slip off. It's fine, and you're just rolling it in. You can do the same thing on the other side. We go here, let it go so I know that I'm getting the proper angle with the bends in the wire. I roll it in. I do the same thing with these two here. Roll it in. And the same here. I roll it in. Now let's look here and see how it fits in. You can see this right side that I didn't do is still pretty loose. Now the left side that I did is much tighter. And I can go here now, and let's tighten this even more. So same thing. Go like this, and then I let it go, make sure I'm at the right angle. Just roll it right in. Go here again. And sometimes you can't, unless you let it go, you can't tell whether you're at the right angle or not. Because here I would have probably wanted to go more here and such, but the minute I let it go, it tells me exactly where it wants to be. I just roll in, and now let's see how that fits here. You can see much better snap. This side's still loose, but this side now, much tighter. Really grabbing in there. And it's grabbing in right here into proximally is where you're trying to get it. So as I said before, you're not looking to get on the buccal surface. You're looking to round this in into proximally, and that's where it's grabbing. And that's it.